No one in the company could believe what had just happened. A quiet janitor, someone most executives barely noticed, had fixed a $100 million problem in mere seconds. The same issue that had drained resources, wrecked deadlines, and embarrassed the firm's brightest minds was suddenly gone, erased as if by magic. For weeks, engineers and consultants had argued, tested, and failed. Then, during a routine cleaning shift, the man with the mop made a tiny move that changed everything. People whispered through the halls, asking how it was possible. Who was this man? How could someone without a degree, without a title, see what hundreds of experts had missed? What the CEO did next would send shockwaves across the company and rewrite its culture forever. But before that moment came, it all started with one silent observer, someone who noticed what no one else did. The company, a giant in advanced manufacturing, was known for precision and innovation. Its headquarters buzzed with non-stop meetings, code reviews, and the hum of expensive machines. Yet lately, panic had replaced progress. A single technical fault had halted production lines and frozen shipments worldwide. Every passing hour cost millions. Executives skipped sleep. Analysts tore through data, and engineers stared at failing systems, desperate for an answer. Investors were losing patience. The media was circling. The company's image and future hung by a thread. Inside the towering glass building, tension crackled in every conversation. Everyone felt it. Something had to give, and fast. Marcus Williams had worked in that same building for 12 years. He was the man who arrived before sunrise and left long after everyone else. He spoke softly, nodded politely, and kept to himself. Most people never looked twice. Yet Marcus had a mind built for observation. He noticed patterns others missed. The rhythm of machines, the sound of a fan running unevenly, the way a light flickered before it died. Cleaning gave him time to think, and thinking was something he loved. He didn't wear a suit or carry a badge that opened high-security doors, but he took quiet pride in his work. What no one realized was that Marcus had been watching the company's struggle unfold, and a small, familiar detail kept tugging at his attention. It began with a software update gone wrong. A single line of flawed code had disrupted a core system that managed factory calibration. Machines stopped syncing. Products came out uneven, and entire shipments were rejected. The loss quickly climbed to $100 million, and counting, specialists from around the world were flown in. Whiteboards filled with equations, monitors glowed through sleepless nights, and still no one could locate the root cause. Every proposed fix created new errors. The CEO, Richard Hale, paced through crisis meetings, his calm facade cracking more each day. Rumors spread that layoffs were coming. People avoided eye contact in elevators. Even seasoned engineers looked defeated. It seemed impossible that something so small could destroy so much. And yet, somewhere amid that chaos, one man with a mop bucket was quietly piecing the puzzle together in his mind. Late one night, while emptying trash in the data control room, Marcus overheard two technicians complaining about the system logs. They mentioned a loop repeating endlessly, something that made no sense. As they left, Marcus looked at the monitor still running. He had seen that same error code months earlier, printed on a discarded report near the loading dock. He leaned closer, reading carefully. His heart raced. The pattern wasn't random. It was the same calibration check he heard the machines repeat on the factory floor. A simple mislabel, not a catastrophic failure. He froze, mop in hand. Should he say something? He was just the janitor. What if they laughed? Still, he couldn't ignore it. With steady hands, Marcus jotted a note and slid it under the supervisor's door, unaware that his quiet action would change everything. The next morning, Marcus waited nervously by the supervisor's office. When the manager, Dana, found the note, she frowned but decided to hear him out. Marcus explained what he'd seen, how the code loop matched a calibration pattern he recognized from the production floor. At first, Dana chuckled. "Marcus, you're saying a label mix-up is costing us millions?" Others in the room smirked, shaking their heads. But something in his calm confidence made her pause. She asked a technician to test it, just to prove him wrong. Seconds later, the room went silent. The error vanished. The machines synced. Every reading returned to normal. The $100 million nightmare ended. Just like that. Everyone stared at Marcus. The man they passed every day without a second glance had solved what experts couldn't. The disbelief turned to awe. Dana whispered, "You just saved this company." By noon, word had reached the top floor. CEO Richard Hale summoned Marcus to the executive conference room. The janitor's hands trembled as he entered. Every senior leader sat waiting. The silence was thick enough to cut. Richard stood, staring at Marcus. "So you're the man who fixed what no one else could." His tone was unreadable. Marcus nodded softly. "I just noticed something that didn't look right, sir." For a moment, no one breathed. Then Richard smiled, a rare, genuine smile. "You didn't just fix a system. You reminded us what real leadership looks like." He turned to his stunned team. "From this day forward, we listen. To everyone." The CEO shook Marcus's hand as the room erupted in applause. Cameras clicked. Tears-filled eyes. A man once invisible had become the hero of the hour. That day, the company changed forever. Marcus's story spread like wildfire. Within days, employees across departments were talking about the janitor who saved the company. But for CEO Richard Hale, it wasn't just a feel-good tale. It was a wake-up call. He launched a new initiative called Voices of Innovation, inviting ideas from every employee, from interns to night shift cleaners. Meetings became more open, hierarchies less rigid, and collaboration soared. Marcus received a promotion, not to management, but to a special advisory role in process improvement. He didn't ask for fame, only the chance to keep helping. The atmosphere of fear and pressure transformed into one of respect and curiosity. Everyone wanted to find the next great idea. And for the first time, they believed it could come from anyone. Marcus's journey wasn't just about fixing a machine. It was about revealing something far bigger. The hidden power of being seen, heard, and valued. Intelligence isn't defined by a title or a paycheck. Sometimes it's found in the quiet observer who dares to speak up. The company learned that day that solutions can come from unexpected places, if only you take the time to listen. Marcus went from invisible to invaluable, not because of luck, but because he cared enough to notice what others ignored. His story became a reminder. Never underestimate anyone. Sometimes the smallest act of courage can change everything. Today, when new employees walk through the company's headquarters, they see a framed photo near the lobby. It's Marcus, mop in hand, smiling, standing beside the CEO. Underneath it reads, "Greatness has no job title." His story continues to inspire people across the world. Proof that humility and observation can achieve what power and status cannot. The company is thriving again, stronger than ever, built on respect instead of fear. And every time a challenge arises, someone inevitably says, "Remember what Marcus did." Because sometimes the most brilliant minds don't wear suits. They carry mops.